As we've seen, though, the Pacer search database is not that great. And so I generally recommend when searching for dockets using one of the legal research platforms. And as I mentioned, we can use Bloomberg Law while you're in law school at a free for you is the way to think of it. Now, like with getting started on anything in Bloomberg Law, it can be a little bit hard to find. They do have the docket search in the middle of this page here. Once again, I favorite it, and so that it appears in my favorites bar. You can also type in dockets, and it'll come up here. And so here we are taken to the Bloomberg docket search page, and we get all of our options for navigating it. We can search for cases by keywords, by the court, and by parties. So I'm going to look for Obergefell v. Kasich here. So Obergefell, Kasich. And I'm going to look for all federal court dockets. I could also put in my docket number, judge names. You can find dockets in a number of different ways. One useful thing to do with a docket search is to create an alert so that you get notified anytime one of your clients is involved in litigation. And that can be a useful business development tool. Now, as we see here, I was searching for a particular case, but I got 139 results. And we can stop and think, why did that happen? Well, let's take a look at the search we ran again. And it looks like I ran an OR search instead of an AND search. So let's go back and edit that search so that we have both of the parties' names included. This time I'm going to be sure to select all of these and not any of these. And that'll be the AND statement that I'm looking for. Now, it took me a few more times to realize I was spelling Obergefell wrong, but eventually I got to the page I was looking for. Now, this is not the famous Supreme Court case. This is the lower level court opinion or court case. And we'll see here is the docket that we're interested in. So I'm going to select that. And this takes me to a docket page that looks like a more attractive version of what you find on Pacer. And that's because all of the information does come from Pacer, and they just insert it into their database. We find the same information, the parties, the attorneys, and then down here we get the docket entries. On the docket page for Bloomberg, I want to flag a few abilities you have that aren't present in Pacer. So first, you can search the documents by keyword. You can search them by filing type. So that's that list of types that we looked at earlier in the previous video. So we can look for motions or complaints. And then, of course, you can filter by dates, and you can just search the entries. Now, if you look at this description, so we get the filing dates, and then we get the description. In between, we have a view or a request. And what this refers to is if someone has already downloaded the document onto Bloomberg, you will get the view option. If not, you'll have the request option. And then you'll be asked, do you want to pull this? Now, they're pulling it from Pacer. And so this is where, if you were in the private sector, they would charge you at the law school. They do not charge you for pulling documents off of Pacer, that 10 cents a page. And so we could request it. Now, certain documents, they keep. So this is a major case that led to an important Supreme Court decision. And so they keep the complaint and the motions live on their platforms, but they will generally not keep basic notices or notices of service, notices of appearance, change of attorneys, because those aren't really relevant documents. So you can download them for the 10 cents, but they're not going to keep them. Whereas the complaint, they will keep permanently on their database. And when you look at it, what do you get? Well, you get the PDF that would appear on Pacer in a window. And if it's not already available, it'll send you an email when it's been downloaded off of Pacer. But if it's already been downloaded, here you can see the actual document. Now, as I mentioned, there's a number of reasons to look at a docket sheet and research these types of court documents this way. One is to look for example documents. Another is so that you can find the final resolution of a case. So as we know, that this case went to the Supreme Court, but that is not what actually resolved this dispute in the Southern District of Ohio. To find that, we need to go to the very bottom of the documents here. And here we find the stipulated judgment. And so that is actually the document that, the final judgment's up here. And then the stipulated judgment is below it for attorney fees. But here is the final judgment and the declaratory injunction for that resolved this case. And so this is an important distinction for understanding the difference between those opinions we see and how cases as a procedural matter actually get resolved at the trial court level. If you have any questions about dockets, I'm happy to answer them. I think they're a really interesting area for research. If you're working at the trial court level, you're likely going to become very familiar with this very quickly and look at the platforms you use the most. But I encourage you to become familiar with what's out there and try them on the various platforms. Like I mentioned, Westlaw and Lexis do have some docket researching, but you generally can't get at the underlying documents on their platforms.